And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley, coming at you. Episode number 1 of season 5. Here we go. Time to rock it. Time to get going. Time to make it better. Time to be better today than you were yesterday. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, let's talk about some other stuff. It is a new year. And I am that guy. I'm that guy that will tell you 100 times who cares about yesterday, who cares about what happened in the past. And even though it's January 2nd day, doesn't mean that you can't do something better today than you did yesterday. It's a good time to reflect. It's a good time to think back. It's a good time to try and decide how you could move forward, only because it is the beginning of the year. But I made a TikTok the other day and I was talking about how, and this is where I'm that guy, you don't need a new year to make a resolution. You do not need January 1st to tell you that you can do something that you haven't been doing, okay? And it's funny because a lot of people wait. And you think about the amount of failures that happen from New Year's resolutions, okay? So how does that work? How does that happen? We go out, we have good intentions, we're going to make a New Year's resolution. I think the biggest one, it's funny because I see a lot of people on TikTok here talking about the gym, right? We make this New Year's resolution that we're going to go to the gym every day. And we start, and we go and we build, we buy a membership, we're paying for it, it forces us to go. Now we're accountable. We're going to go every single day. We're going to go work out. You start out on today, you didn't start yesterday because yesterday was a new day, right? So you can't do it on the 1st because it's New Year and we got to go out and eat. And we got to go do this and we got to do that. And then we put it off. You know what? That was a Monday. Shit, well, I'm going to go work out today. Today's Tuesday. We go and we work out. We start exercising. And boom, we're going. We're off and rolling. Now, there's a whole bunch of people. Right? The gym is full. So there's those people who've been working out every single day of the year because that's what they do. That's how they do their stuff. And what happens? Now, the gym is overloaded. You can't get to that machine. You can't do that, whatever. The people who are going every single day are like upset. Another TikToker posted a video on it. It's like, get ready. This is okay. What about that one person who needs it? Because not everyone drops off, right? So like I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to see chances of your New Year's resolution failing. Because that's what we all do, right? Chances of your New Year's resolution failing. Research suggests that only 9% of Americans that make resolutions complete them. 9%. Are you going to be in that 9%? Because that's how that happens. That's what's going on. That's why I don't like them. It's like that amount is terrible. There are 9% of people who make it, but 9 out of 100. And the reason is because, let's make a New Year's resolution. That's what we're going to do. And the reason is because they're not really into it. They're just going to do it. And then they end up going to the gym, like we're talking about. And this is just one New Year's resolution that you could have. So, Nikki, what's happening, Nikki, over in Pennsylvania, and said, I made a resolution not to make a resolution. I will be successful. Very good. It shouldn't be a resolution. But Nikki doesn't want to go to the gym until February when they drop off because that's what's going to happen. Happy New Year's, Jen, over on TikTok. That's what's going to happen. 9% of people do that. In fact, research goes to show that 23% of people quit their resolution by the end of the first week. By the end of the first week. 43% quit by the end of January. Is it a good thing? Probably not. So we're going to talk about something else. Can't see my sweatshirt right now. Love this sweatshirt. Just got it a couple weeks ago. A friend of mine, Duncan Sorso, who has been on the podcast, has a clothing brand. It's called Oh My. OHMY. Oh My. Acronym, right? Big word. Sorry if some of you don't understand what an acronym is, but the 4 letters mean something. It means out, that's the O, hustle, the H, my, the M, yesterday, right? Out, hustle, my yesterday. And I got on board with this. I love this. A friend of mine, Zach Johnson, who's also been on the podcast, introduced me to Duncan. So if you go to Oh My Apparel and you use the code LIMITLESS, you get a special discount. I think that'll be funny because Zach hasn't podcasted in a while, but I know he's listening because I have listeners in Germany in a certain area, and it's him. So, but anyway, having people who think this way, having people who talk about doing that. So think about that. Out hustle my yesterday. What does that mean? No matter what day it is, no matter what week it is, no matter what month it is, all you're trying to do is be better today than you were yesterday. And that's what I love about that. That is what I love about that. You are willing to be better today than you were yesterday. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. And that's the whole theme of Shaping Success, right? Success is defined by you. You build it. You generate it. You decide what it is. But the only way to be successful is whatever that is that you decide it is. This is getting crazy. You have to be willing to work harder. Now, there are days when you don't feel like being better today than you were yesterday, and I understand that completely. But the fact of the matter is if you have this common goal to be better every single day, then you're going to work towards being better. You want to get better at losing weight? You do a better job eating. You want to do better at getting stronger? You lift more weights. Doing push-ups. You go out, you set out to do a goal to be stronger. You know what? It's super easy. You don't have to go, I'm going to the gym every single day. You get your ass out of bed and you do 50 push-ups. I can't do 50 push-ups. You get out of bed like me, I would start with, okay, we're going to do 1 push-up because I've never been really good at doing push-ups. But in order for me to get better, I got to start with 1, right? Because you can't get anywhere without taking the first step. Get out of bed, do 1 push-up. Tomorrow, do 2 push-ups. The following day, do 3 push-ups. There's one way you could be better yesterday or better today than you were yesterday. And that's what I love about these clothes that I wear, like my Move Forward shirt, right? My Move Forward shirt is talking about just keep going. Just keep moving forward. Just keep going. And that's what we need to do. No matter what it is, if you have a goal, you got to keep going. Jen over on TikTok says, I don't do New Year's resolutions as such, but I do use the time to look at what I need to change and improve. And that's great. It's a great time to reflect. It's a great time to think about what did you do in your previous year. It's a good set point, right? Because a lot of times in terms of doing things, we set a goal, right? And that goal, to see if you met it, you have to sit back and reflect on it. Take this podcast, for instance, I've talked about it a million times. Looking at my goal last year to hit 40,000 downloads, I did it. But was it high enough? I hit 42, so I just barely made it. I have, I'm going to put these goals out here right now, even though it's like thinking, because it's a set point, right? This is episode 1 of the 5th season. So I've been doing this for 5 years. This is episode 1 of the 5th season. So if I look at my stats, my thought process is this. I had 45.2K downloads, right? So what's a good goal for me? And I have to be realistic because I look at the average of downloads. I've got 1474 in the last 90 days. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to break that down and try and figure it out. Now, I haven't set goals for that yet because you know what? I don't believe in resolutions. But, it'd be really cool to get to 100,000 downloads on the audio part of this, right? And with the video, with the YouTube, I've been trying to grow this channel. Last year was a really good push, and we got started, and we started doing it. And I got to 2,200 followers on YouTube. That doesn't equate to much. People always think that you got all those downloads and you're killing it. Well, they have an average, this is how much you're going to make. You have to get 1,000 downloads or 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 watch hours to be monetized. That doesn't mean that you're making money, right? So you look at it, and what that means is you are making some money, but if you think that I'm making millions of dollars off of 2,200 people who are watching from time to time and get through shorts and things like that, you're nuts. Combined between like all of the platforms that I'm on, I'm probably making about $20 a month. Okay. YouTube generates about $6 a month. In order to get there, you have to have 10,000 followers. You have to have 10,000 watch hours on whatever it is to make even $10. So it's crazy. So remember that it's not killing it. It's not like you think it is, but love it. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep trying to push forward. My goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. Will that be easy? No, but what do I have to do? I have to be better today than I was yesterday. And I have to be better tomorrow than I was the day before. And that's all there is to it. Keep freaking pushing no matter what. And you may have people that will sit there and try to drive you away. And you see it all the time. The more people that follow you, the more people talk, or the more people that see you, the more people talk trash, right? Oh, Nikki says most people make prison wages online. It's crazy. It really is. It's nuts that goal of having a big, huge following on social media doesn't mean anything. You look at like my TikTok. I'm at 23,000 followers on TikTok, which equates to about 3 cents a day. Because the 23,000 followers that are on TikTok, I have interaction with about 100 of them. So if you think about that, like that means that many people are actually paying attention. When you look at a view, I got 250 views on each TikTok that I post, about average. I'm only reaching 250 people in my base. That's like 100 people. That's like less than 1%. Awesome. Jen says, I'm going to have less carbs in the diet and no carbs, but less carbs. I'm going to start after holiday food. And it's not even that, Johnny. What is happening? Johnny just hopped in over on TikTok. Thank you for the gifts. That's the thing with the New Year's resolution, though. Like, it has to be realistic, 100%. What are you going to do? A lot of people will wait till after the Super Bowl, too, because the Super Bowl is one of those things where you're going to party, right? We'll see. I don't know. I'll barbecue something. That's what I always do. Happy New Year, Johnny. So the goal here is to just tell you to be better today than you were yesterday. That's all there is to it. We have to be willing to work harder than we did yesterday. So here is a quote. It says, be better today than you were yesterday and be better tomorrow than you are today. Be better today than you were yesterday and be better tomorrow than you are today. So what's that going to entail? It's going to take a little work on your behalf, right? And it doesn't matter what it is, but being willing to improve. I was talking to a good friend of mine who came to visit. I see him about once a year, which I need to make it more frequent, but he lives in Bend in Bend, Oregon, and plays, or is a golf pro. And we were talking about, not seeing each other and the things that we do and why we do them. And it just reminded me of a lot of things. There are all these things that you have these goals and desires to do. And I want to tell you the best way to figure that out, what to do, improving. We were talking about college and how I've said this before on here that I did not read a book. And sorry, college professors, these books you prescribe to us to read for your classes do not help. They do not help. Okay. I have learned more from reading on my own from people that I have been around. And we talked about connections and the people that you are involved with. If you have a goal and a dream and desire, the best way to do it is to find someone who is doing what you want to do. Okay. Find someone who's doing what you want to do. And when you find that person, you either talk to them or figure it out. And I can tell you one thing, there's a lot of people who do really cool stuff. So podcasting. It's something that I was really enjoying. So I was like, who's doing this? Who is making this happen? And I found Gary Vee. And then I read his book and I started reading through his book, and he's like, there's so-and-so here. There's so-and-so there, right? There's all these people that are doing this thing and they've done it before. So how do you figure out how to do something? You don't need to go to school to do it. You can find a way to make it happen. Johnny says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change 100%. So go out there and find this person. So I found Gary Vee. I started looking through it. I'm like, you should do a podcast. It's one of the things he always says. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I think I could do this. I think I would like it. Lo and behold, I like to talk, which is funny. But then he's like, let's look at Lewis Howes. And Lewis Howes is a person that has a podcast that he talks and interviews to people. He interviews people who are, somewhat semi-famous or successful, kind of like this. And I started thinking, well, what could I do to emulate that? How can I make this? How can I repeat this? So I got done reading Gary Vee's book, and I'm like, oh, Lewis has a book. It's called The School of Greatness. So I started reading his book. I started listening to his podcast, and I started trying to decide how to do that. Then I end up with a bunch of other people, and all of a sudden you start surrounding yourself with these people who know what they're doing. And then I meet Jay, my friend Jay from Arizona. He has a Hard Parking podcast. He does a lot of things. He's talking to me about sound and all these other things. And it's like, interesting. So then I started making, soundboards and making my sound quality better. And then we start talking about mics. And I'm like, oh, great, I need a new mic. So we start talking about that, about mics. And all of a sudden, these connections that you start to surround yourself with and these people that you start being around, you start to glean information from them. And you're in the right headspace because those people want you to succeed and you want to succeed. So what happens? You start to succeed. Things start happening. Now, the other thing is what I could have done was I've been like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm tired of it and I'm going to quit. Then what? What does that get you? Not anywhere close. Someone told me that I was stupid. Someone told me that the sound was crap. Someone told me that the blah, blah, blah. You get that constructive criticism, and it's not always constructive, but it's someone telling you why you shouldn't do what you're doing, and it sucks, and blah, blah, blah. And what happens? It freezes you. You stop. You quit. I'm not going to do it anymore. And it's nuts. It's hard to believe that it can stop you and it can freeze you. Or your second choice is to improve and take some of that advice. Rockin' Raccoon on TikTok sent me some information the other day. And I don't know if today sounds any better than it did yesterday, but I have this Rodecaster Pro 2. Great tool for podcasting. I've had issues with it ever since I found it, but my problem is that I don't know how to use the settings. And I need to take the time to figure it out. So I'm going through and I'm trying to figure that out. And I realized that I can raise the gain on this because if you're watching this on YouTube, it might not be loud enough. And Jay told me that a million times. But I'm like, I can't do it. So then all of a sudden I go and I Google something, and there's a guy named Mike Russell who works with sound and has a Rodecaster Pro 2. And he's like, you can go in the settings and you can change it because the presets don't always work for every single voice. Improvement. How am I going to make it? How am I going to make it better? Today it sounds better than it did yesterday, I believe. Haven't taken a look at it yet, and I will send it out and see what happens. But that is where it goes. Okay. Robert Watson just jumped into TikTok, and this is something that I want to remind you about. So tomorrow, we're going to start, good morning, Robert. We're going to start a podcast tomorrow. So morning coffee is this new thing, right? I've done like 35, 40 episodes. And I started to work through the podcast, and I thought, you know what? How am I going to get better at this, right? What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to start doing it more. And this morning coffee has become a self-reflection of what I'm doing on a daily basis. So I get up in the morning. Most of you, Robert called it a God half-full hour, which is funny because it is what I get up at 4:15, but I go to bed at 8. So like a lot of people just switch their time, not 8 every night, between 8:30 and 9. And we talked about it. It's like, are we going to do it? And it is because the reason why I do it right now is because I got a 2-year-old asleep right now, and this is the time that I don't take away from him. My wife is still sleeping. This is the time that I don't take away from her. And And I can come out here and I can do this, and I can do it on a daily basis and get better at speaking, because that's what it's about. I want to get better. I want to improve. And I have to do it when I have time to do it, because otherwise I'm taken away from everything else, because I do have a full-time job, right? So tomorrow, on Wednesday, which is crazy because we didn't do it on Monday because no one listens to anything on Monday, on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, everyone's busy eating stuff in their face, having a good time, the last day to relax, which we still have a 4-day weekend, which is great because our 4-day work week, because then we get an opportunity to kind of catch up. I'm still working on the studio. But tomorrow we are going to be starting to break down his book. And his book has a lot to do with kind of what Shaping Success is all about. So it's going to be another chapter, another episode, a different version of Shaping Success that you're going to see. So you're going to get morning coffee Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to do morning coffee on Monday, but you're going to get 2 episodes on Monday, because you're going to get, you can possibly get 2 episodes on Monday. If I do an interview, because I have 2 interviews in the book, in the bank, one's coming out Monday with Jennifer, or next Monday with Jennifer Boxerman. Really good episode. She uses metaphors and things like that to kind of show you what dieting and nutrition can look like, but which is success oriented as well. I talked about brushing your teeth every single day. And like, as you set that goal, if you forgot, and this goes along with everyone who's making this New Year's resolution, okay? If you forgot to brush your teeth today, would you just quit brushing your teeth and let your teeth just rot out of your mouth? Or would you do it tomorrow? Or would you do it later in the day? And I'm pretty sure the answer is I'm not going to quit brushing my teeth, because it doesn't make sense for me to stop brushing my teeth. Same thing with working out. If you started a New Year's resolution, which I hate, yesterday, but you missed today, why would you not go tomorrow? Because you wouldn't quit brushing your teeth, right? Ramble. But think about that. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, morning coffee. Wednesday is going to be a breakdown with Robert. Awesome book that talks about success and how he's been through so many different things and what we're going to do. And we're going to start doing that. And it may take, 30 minutes at a time. We're going to chunk that thing down, and we're going to talk about his book and break it down and the tools he used. And he has a lot of data to back it up, and how you make that better. We're going to sprinkle in some interviews, which was kind of the cream. It was kind of what Shaping Success was. In the beginning, I didn't have interviews all the time. Now I got people reaching out to me daily, asking me to be on the show. And I pick and choose, because a lot of people are out here just trying to push their agenda. And I'm not about that. I want people who are going to actually help me and actually help you. So there you go. That is what is going on with Shaping Success. And you guys can join in, you can hang out, you can subscribe on the YouTube. Go to Shaping Success at Wes Tankersley to watch these videos. Subscribe, go to Apple Podcast, subscribe, leave a review. It's super helpful. Hang out. We have subscribers on TikTok. You can subscribe like a different way on YouTube as well. You can join the Patreon for as little as $2 a month. If you want to sponsor the show, you definitely can do that. I'm looking for a title sponsor, which would be awesome. You get a shout out every single day. We have 4 subscriptions on TikTok. Twisted D, Nikki Pav, the bacon lover, who is here every single day and helps write all the show notes, puts out the shorts and all that stuff for me. Super helpful. Michelle, who is not here today, and Lizzie, 88. Thank you for being subscribers. Thank you for hanging out with me. I look forward to making this year rock. And there's going to be a lot of fun going on, a lot of good tools that you can use. Go out there today and remember what we talked about. Out hustle my yesterday. My yesterday. Control what you can control. You are in charge of your hustle. You are in charge of the things that you do. Get your butt out there today and be better than you were yesterday. Screw those New Year's resolutions.